Can you imagine if after Jesus left, all of his disciples just went back to what they were doing before? Like Matthew went back to being a tax collector, and Luke went back to being a doctor, and Peter, James, and John went back to being fishermen, and they just went back to their normal lives with this really good feeling inside that they were saved. Oh, blessed me, I'm saved, I knew Jesus, and they just went back to their normal life. We wouldn't have the New Testament. We wouldn't know the gospel. None of us would be saved, but they would be. But see, they didn't do that. They took the Great Commission seriously. Jesus said, go, preach my word, and make disciples. That's two actions they were supposed to take. And the problem with Christianity today is a lot of us have bought into the lie of once saved, always saved. You don't have to do anything. There's nothing you can do. It's not by your works. You can't earn God's love. That's 100% true. However, we are supposed to go to work. We are supposed to be doers of the word. We are supposed to go and preach and make and follow. And there's so many verbs that Jesus and Peter and John and Paul all talked about. We're supposed to be doing something. But instead, we all are worried about our own salvation. I'm saved. Listen to Christians talk. I'm saved. I know Jesus. I know where I'm going to when I die. I'm going to heaven. I, me. That is not the gospel. That is not discipleship. That is not Christ-like. We are supposed to preach the word to people and make disciples. It's not about our own salvation. And all the disciples knew that. They went out immediately preaching and praising and healing and doing and creating more disciples and creating what we now know to their own deaths. But we're too worried about comfort. We're too worried about, well, what if they don't like me? What if my family doesn't? Jesus said that. He came to divide. He didn't come to bring all of this peace and harmony. He came to divide father from mother and child from parent and friend from friend. He came to drive a wedge. It is about spreading the gospel, regardless of what it does to your position or your relationships or your earthly stature. Take the parable of the talents in Matthew 25. He tells a story of a master that goes on a journey. It's him. Spoiler alert. He's the master that left on a journey. And he leaves talents or money with his 3 servants. One he gives 5, one he gives 2, one he gives 1. When he comes back, he expects a return. Jesus is very clear in this. He expects some kind of ROI on his investment. He goes to the one with 5 and he goes, what did you do with it? He goes, I made 5 more. You wonderful, blessed servant. He goes to the one with 2. What did you do with the 2 I gave you? I made 2 more. Wonderful, blessed servant. And then he goes to the one that he gave 1. And he goes, I was afraid and I didn't know how you were going to react. So I hid that 1. I buried it in the ground. Here's the 1. And he brings it back. He goes, here's the 1 you gave me. See, what he's talking about there is salvation. He gave that man salvation like he gives it to you and me. Freely, undeserving, merciful, graceful salvation, which we don't have to earn. That is true. But once he gives it, he expects a return. He expects you to do something with it. And that something is go and create more. Go and preach the word. Go and make disciples. He expects to come back and go, how many disciples did you make? Just me, just the 1. Here I am, but I'm once saved, always saved, and you love everyone, so everyone gets in heaven, right? No. Let's read what he says in Matthew 25, verse 26. The master replies, you evil, lazy servant. What do you mean? What? I took my salvation and I kept it right here because I'm saved, once saved, always saved, and I'm all that matters, right? No. He goes, you evil, lazy servant. Down at the end, verse 30, he goes, and throw this good-for-nothing servant into the outer darkness where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's what awaits people that think that salvation is all about them. They think that they're saved and that's all that matters, and they're going to go back to work and you're going to hide your lamp under a bushel, you're going to bury your talent in the ground, you're going to hide the salvation because you don't want to offend and you don't want to upset the apple cart, so I'm saved and that's all that matters and Jesus loves me, this I know, and you're just going to go about life. Not Christian, not biblical, not the gospel. We are supposed to go and preach. If you have been saved, if you have that relationship, tell everyone, talk to everyone. Everyone should know that you're a Christian, that you follow Christ, not by what you say, but how you live, how you do the word, how you preach the word and create more disciples. We've missed that part. Participation trophy Christianity is ruining. That's why we're the lukewarm church, is because we think it's all about us. And we think that our salvation is what matters. In reality, when he returns, and he is returning soon, he's going to expect a return on his investment. What have you done to create more disciples?